Okay, so you can all see my slide deck. Cool. So this one is, this series will be going into system administration. Now, system administration in Jira is very vast. Okay, there's a lot of different screens and things. So today, we're really just going to touch the surface and to go through the different aspects of system administration, workflows, users, different things like that. This will be the beginning, and hopefully that will set the content then for a range of future presentations or meetups. So I'll start a recording. So this is the fourth of the four streams focused on system administrators, and system administrators are responsible for system-wide configuration, and that includes, as I just mentioned, configuration of workflows, permission schemes, screens, fields, a lot of the things that we saw in project administration, you know, when we were going through the project settings, and we were looking at things like permission schemes, notification schemes, field configuration schemes, screen configuration. There's the ability to add custom fields and different things like that. The creation of those and the management of those all falls under system administration. So high level agenda, I'm going to show you where you can get access to free Jira and Confluence instances, and I can help anybody setting those up if you'd like to. With system administration, I can't open that up to everybody, because if you've got system administration, and if I'm publishing the user ID and password on LinkedIn, for example, I don't want people to go in and you know, give themselves the ability to delete my own private projects and stuff like that. So for you to be able to play with system administration, it's best if you can do that in your own free Jira instance. And all the stuff that we try out, creating custom fields and adding in plugins with the demo period and all that sort of stuff, you can do all of that for free in your own instance now. Atlassian have only introduced that free version in the last few months, which is absolutely brilliant. It gives people the opportunity to learn and play and all of that. And I'll support you with that. So if you want to install or set up your own free instance, then I can help you with configuring it, and we could share screens during meetups as well. So if you're having trouble with a particular area of system administration, we can either do it in your instance or replicate it in mine or whatever. Another option is that I set up several, because I'm limited to 10 users per instance, but I could set up several free ones and give you individually, instead of a generic Meetup user, I could add your email address as a system admin into one of those free instances that I manage. That could be another alternative. So just let me know either in the chat or message me after if you'd like to look at that. So under system administration, we've got several different areas there. There's users and billing. There's the system itself. There's products integration, which is where you add in plugins. So it could be Portfolio for Jira was one that we used to have. There's ones for being able to set mandatory fields at particular points in the workflow. There is literally thousands of plugins available. Then we've got projects, where you can administer projects. That's a pretty basic one. Issues, there's a lot in there. So under issues, there's issue types, workflows, screens, issue types, screen schemes, all these different things that are related to issues and used by issues. And then the last one there is apps. That's for integration. So you can integrate between Jira and Confluence. You can also integrate with Slack, with Miro, I think, as well. And you can integrate with all of Atlassian's other products, Bamboo, not Jenkins, it's a competitor to Bamboo, Crucible, and there's a whole heap of different software development focused products that you can integrate with as well. I had a call yesterday from a recruitment agent looking for a Jira and Confluence system administrator. It's only open to Australian residents, but 4 to 6 weeks at a daily rate. I'm starting a new role in about 3 weeks' time, so it's not suitable for me. But I said to them that I would find, if there's anybody who's got system administration experience in Jira and Confluence, if you can let me know. So if any of you have had system administration experience, or if you know of somebody who's looking for, is out of work at the moment and is looking for a short-term stint, please let me know, because we might be able to help somebody there. Okay, so a quick look at system administration. you'll see in the, now let me just annotate on the screen here. And I might pick a different color. Go with green. You see up on the, in the URL window here, the website that I'm looking at today is integrityworksdemo.atlassian.net. So this is another free one that I've set up that doesn't have my own projects and stuff in it. And it's a clean slate pretty much. I've imported all the same data. We've got a Meetups project and we've got important bird and all those other ones. These projects don't contain the changes that you've made. So if you've set up a new project or you set up a new board or a new dashboard, for example, they won't appear in here in filters and all the rest of it. But it's got the base data for that mock data. So we can use this one to really play around with the system administration, and I could give a few people access to play in here as system administrators, and I won't break anything. Okay, I'm just going to move my toolbar up here. Move that too. Okay. So to access settings, it's over here on the right-hand side, top corner. When you are part of the Jira administrators group, then when you click on that little gear icon up in the top right corner, rather than just seeing your personal settings, which are these ones down here, you get to see a whole lot more. So the top part here is Atlassian admin. You won't see this unless you are, pardon me, a site admin. So there's different levels of system admin. So basically the owner of the instance, and you can assign multiple people to sort of be the owner. I think billing is restricted just to whoever actually created the thing, and you want to be pretty careful with assigning billing anyway. This one's free, and so I don't mind the billing too much. If somebody as a system administrator added in a plugin that I had to pay for, that would be a bit different. So that'd be a reason just to invite individuals to this instead of the generic Meetup user ID. User management. That's where we can add users, groups, and manage access requests. So I can issue a request to any of you, and then I can see that the request is pending, for example, and manage which groups you've got access to and all the rest of it. So that's in there. Then under Jira settings, this is where we'd be spending most of our time. And so we've got system, which is looking at things like general configuration, global permissions, look and feel of the UI, so we can change different things there, and really that system level kind of configuration. We've got products, so we can manage Jira product settings and integrations, and that's where we can add in, if we wanted to, as part of billing, add Bamboo or Crucible or some other products, Atlassian products, we would use those there or configure those there. Projects is a fairly lightweight screen. We'll have a quick look at that one. And really it's just pretty similar to the projects view that you see, but you can also configure project categories, for example. So there's not a whole lot in that. Issues is a very substantial area. And apps is where you can, as I was saying before, install more plugins, and you can change the licensing for your plugins and that sort of thing, and renew. And if you've got a trial and you want to actually purchase it, that's where you do it from the apps screen. Okay. Just turn off annotations for a minute. Okay. So as usual, let's discuss along the way, right? So if you've got questions, just paste them into the chat and I'll have a look in the chat window from time to time. The other benefit of the chat window is that because we're recording, just make sure I am. Yes, I am. Because we're recording, if anybody's watching this who hasn't made it to the meetup, your questions that you paste into the chat and we discuss will also help them too. So it's a good thing to do. Any questions so far? All good. Okay. I've included the links here for the free software, and I'll show you these tabs and paste these into the chat in a minute. And yeah, please ask for help if you need it, as I was discussing before. And thank you, that comes at the end. Okay. A little bit rushed with my slide deck today, so sorry about that, with the training and everything happening. And I'm just going to change my screen that I'm sharing. Okay, so you should now be able to see my browser. Is that right? Yep, cool. All right, so the first one here, and I'll post this into the chat. I sort of stumbled across, with the free software, there's a few places in the Atlassian website where if you click on the free version, it either just shows Jira for free or Confluence for free. So I found, it makes sense, Jira/free. There's this center item here. Let me just turn on annotation again. Center item here, where you can get both Jira software and Confluence for free. And so that's a limit of 10 users, which for most of us should be heaps, right? But there's some limitations about the support that you can get. And Nikhil, I think you were saying last time, or Varun, it might have been, was saying that there's notifications. There's a limit on the number of notifications, like it's 100 notifications a day or something like that. So they've been a little bit sneaky. And with the free instance that I've signed up for, they keep sending me emails saying, "Hey, would you like to upgrade to the standard one so you get support," and all this sort of thing. So it is a price leader. But if you just ignore the emails and stuff, then for the majority of your time, it'll do everything you need it to do. You have access to next-gen projects roadmaps, which are pretty basic, but not the portfolio type advanced roadmaps. So to get that, you need that Jira Premium for that one. Okay, and so there's that one. I think I posted that, yep. The other way to get to it is from Confluence. I'll paste this one in here as well. And it's the same kind of deal. There's that center part there, or center option where you can choose two. So you can have Confluence and Jira and sign up for free.
Well, just thought I'd copied that URL into a browser, and it's given me something quite different. So just as an FYI to others on the call, yeah. It lands me at a page that has Atlassian. It says, our cloud products were given better together, a list of ticks that they can do. And then you go into, you've selected Jira software, project and issue tracking, select a second product, and they highlight Confluence. But then I go next, and in the next screen is saying, oh, welcome back, Meetup. So it's picked up the fact that I logged in Meetup.
Okay, yes. Yeah. So you're logged in as Meetup.
Yep.
That's right. Okay. So if you might need to log out first.
Log
That's
out.
a really good.
Got it.
Really good pickup. Yeah.
Yep.
Good point. All right. Thank you.
No worries. FYI.
Okay. Yeah. Good point. So for everybody watching this video, make sure you log out of your Atlassian account first. Okay. Cool. Thank you, Ignacio. That's good. All right.
No problem.
Now I'm just going to clear the annotations. All right. So when we go into Integrity Works demo and the same Meetup user, I think I need to register it still, so it won't work just yet. Give me a bit of time after the Meetup and I'll register the user and then let everybody know before I send out the message to everybody. And then you'll be able to access this one. So I'll paste it in here. It will probably prompt you for a password if you go in there now. So just hold off, please, and I'll I'll set the password and I'll share it with everybody. Okay, so the gear icon on the top right-hand corner, this is the screenshot that we saw before. So there's user management. I'll show you that in a second. Billing, system, products, projects, issues, apps, and then the personal ones that you would see with your own account already. So if we go to the administration one, this kind of breaks out into a different area. You can see by the URL here, it's no longer looking at the Integrity Works bit. It's the administration for Integrity Works demo, but it's like in a different area of Atlassian's website. It's under Atlassian.com rather than Atlassian.net. Here I've got all those imported users from, and you can see it's fake.xpm.com. When I imported all that dummy data, it created all these users. And so we can go and administer one of these guys. So if we go to Anthony, then we can see at the moment, and I don't know Anthony, I've got no idea who he is, or whether he's even a real person. So we can see that Anthony doesn't have any access yet. And if I tick that, then I can resend the invitation to him. And by default, he's got access to Jira software and Confluence. You can say what sort of, at a high level, what kind of access you want this person to have. So the default is basic, can only access the products that you specify. Trusted, can update product settings, add new products and invite basic users to products, etc. or a site administrator. Can administer the site, determine user access, and update billing details like you. So the trusted one would be that middle one where the Meetup user, I'd give access or to you guys individually if we set up the multiple sites. We give you access so that you can go in and change system settings, create custom fields, and all that sort of stuff. You can set up groups. So we've got Confluence users, Jira software users, and Jira users. In one of the future sessions, I'll show you how to set up groups and permissions so that you can, like we discussed last time, give your clients access if you wanted to, and they can just see a project or a Jira, a Confluence space if you just want to limit what they can actually see. So that's administration in a nutshell, right? There's a whole lot more to this: groups, access requests, site access, product access. There's a link there to G Suite. I've never used that before. Emojis and all sorts of stuff, billing and all sorts of things, right? If we jump into billing, then if I was on a paid subscription, it would tell me here what the upcoming bill estimate was, all of the history of the bills, who the bills get sent to, billing details, how we pay our bills, all the rest of it. And you can manage your subscriptions and all of that in here as well. So this is where if I wanted to change from Confluence and Jira free, if I wanted to change to a paid product, go to Jira Premium, for example, I'd do that through here. You can add more Atlassian products. It's got some suggestions here if you wanted to get Bitbucket and Trello and different things like that, so you can add those in. Okay, any questions there so far? No. Good. Okay, then we get into system. And this is, again, remember when I was saying that under all these different options, system and issues, they're the big ones, right? There's a lot to cover, and we could probably fill a few meetups with going through the detail of these. So under settings, there's things like your email. If an email is sent from Jira, who it appears that it's from. You can set your language packs. Different issues or different options like allowing users to vote on issues, watching, allowing users to share dashboards and filters with the public. I think Dan in one of the earlier sessions said that he'd seen that. This is where you would change that setting. Maximum project name size, lots and lots of things in here. JQL autocomplete, all sorts of things, right? So when you've got access either to your own or your own instance, or if we set up and give you personal access to one of these demo ones that I'll set up, I'd encourage you to browse around and have a look in here. It does get a bit overwhelming. There's a lot to look at. So if you ever get stuck, just let me know, and I can just set up a short Zoom with you just to help guide, where you're looking at, that sort of stuff. There's an audit log, project roles, for example. So I've got administrators, developers. They're the ones that are out of the box. But there's another one that I'd created, external user. I think I'd set that up as a project role. Maybe that's a group. But you can define your own project roles, and what that enables you to do is you can have a client role, right, for a project or a read-only role. And so you can modify your permission schemes and your notification schemes to leverage those project roles, so that a particular project role can only do certain things, or they only get certain notifications. So as you've rightly pointed out, Ignacio, it's very, very powerful. What you see out of the box with Jira, it looks pretty simple and straightforward, but when you dive into it, there's a lot. As I said to Nikhil when we had a chat the other day, though, if I can learn this stuff, anybody can, right? There's nothing special about me. So if there's, if I, have sort of fumbled my way around all of this and learnt it, then anybody can. So it's not beyond anyone. There's global permissions in here as well. And a lot of these, I've only found these through need as well. So somebody might say, oh, I can't do this or that, or I want to be able to do X. I'll just Google it and find it. Or it could be that I've joined an employer and I'm like, hang on a minute, I can't make bulk changes anymore. Why not? So then I'd go and find the permission and put in a request to the service desk to say, hey, this make bulk changes thing, can you please enable that so that I can do updates to multiple records? So I'd encourage you to have a look through there as well. For example, global permission about browsing users and groups. If you've got clients, you'd want to change that so that they can't see users from all your other clients as well. Issue collectors, honestly, I've never used this one. I don't know what it's used for, but somebody in the meetup will know about this, and they'll have a really cool use case for it. User interface, so you can change your default setting for HTML, for example. You can change look and feel, so you can, let me, if I open up a new tab. So the color, on my website, sorry. Not this one. integrityworks.atlassian.net. Okay, that's what I meant to do. So you can change the color scheme and the look and feel and everything in Jira. So you can set a logo, colors, title, favorite icon that appears in the browser, all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of power there too. Import and export. You can back up your instance. And again, this is looking just at cloud, right? Not at the server instance. So the process is slightly different for backing up server and cloud. But you can back up from one cloud instance, and then you can import into a new instance if you wanted to. And that's how I did the setting up this demo one. And when you import, you can import just specific projects if you want to, or you can import the entire thing. If you import the entire thing, then you blow away whatever was there before, configuration and everything. So it's a little bit complicated, but it's good to have that, that power. You can do an external system import. You can import from CSV files, from a Trello board, JSON, from Jira Server or Cloud, and there's a whole heap of other XML and different formats and stuff as well. So it's probably a whole nother meetup in its own right. Okay, you can restore a system from a backup if you wanted to. It's global mail settings. I'm just mindful we're at half an hour now. Outgoing mail, incoming mail, sending email. It's permission helpers and notification helpers. If you've got, if you've changed your permission and notification schemes and you think, oh, this person can't do something that I thought they would be able to do, then you can use this permission helper to find out why not, why they can't do it. So put in a particular user, the issue that they're experiencing. Oh no, there's a particular issue, sorry, and I haven't used this before. And permission, there you go. So the type of permission that you're looking for, and it will help you work out what's going on.
Paul, where is that? Oh,
yeah.
Permission helper. I got it.
Yeah, yep. So yeah, good question. And again, it's easy to get lost, right? So under system, if you scroll down, there's admin helper, there's a section, and then permission helper.
You'd think that that collapse, so you could see a list of folders that you could open up, because what I'm seeing is all kind of it's blended, and that's why I lost it. That's all.
Yeah,
it doesn't have indentations.
Exactly right. So there's no tree structure or anything like that.
Yeah,
there's
tree structure.
No bolding or color or anything like that on the headings. I think they need to do a bit of work on this. I guess they probably think it's a lower priority because 80% of people are using the other functionality and that sort of stuff. It's a really good point though. For people learning, it's very difficult. Notification helper, that's the same thing as permissions. Work out why people are getting notifications or they're not, and that sort of thing. Shared filters and dashboards. In here, the system administrator can change the owner. That's a really important thing. If you have somebody in your organization, they leave, but they had a filter that they were using on a dashboard or in a project or a board, you can change it so that it's the system administrator becomes the owner, for example, of a filter, or your new Scrum Master or new product owner or whatever the case may be. So that's helpful to have that too. Same with shared dashboard. Automation rules. Automation is a fairly new thing. It started out as a plugin that Atlassian bought, and then they've incorporated it into the system or into the standard package. And there's global rules, project rules. That's really cool. That's probably a whole nother meetup in its own right as well. Or meetup event. Attachments, you can change, pardon me, the attachment, the maximum attachment size. In your own free instance, be careful with this because you've got a 2 gig limit. So just take care of that. You can create new events. So when we were talking about notifications in the last session, we very, very quickly, if you watch the video again and you pause it, you'll see this bit. where you can see these different events: issue created, issue updated, assigned, resolved. These are all different types of events that the system can generate. And a lot of these are part of the workflow as well. So you can trigger an event or nominate an event during a workflow. So it could be, for example, issue reopened. So if in a workflow, if you go from closed back to open, you might fire issue reopened. And so that would be associated with a notification scheme. You can, there's a generic event, and you can create your own as well. So it could be Ignacio's event, for example, or Sandeep's event. So that's, I've used that a couple of times. Like there's been a couple of times that I've needed to create a new event, but not often. Webhooks, to be honest, I've never used webhooks before. I'm sure there's something great about it, and somebody in the group will be able to teach us about that. Services, I think this is like cron jobs that can run, so you can probably add new services. Again, I've never used this. That's something I'd like to learn about though. And Lexo rank management, I have absolutely no idea what that's about. But I'll probably need to find out. Okay, if you never used Jira, you won't need to configure anything on this screen. Great. So there's some stuff there about database balancing. Okay, so it's around probably indexing for the database and that sort of thing. So play with care there as well. So that's system. Applications. So if we go back to, I'm just going to close that one. If we go back to our screen here. So we had system, then we've got products, is the next one. I'll close off billing, close off system. So now we're looking at products. If you click on product access, that will take you back to that user administration area where you can sort of control product access. And there's not a whole lot in here. So it's Jira software configuration. And the only option there at the moment is parallel sprints. So that would allow a new sprint to be started when one's already in progress. That's kind of a Scrum anti-pattern, so I wouldn't tick that one. You may have a need for it, but probably not. Application links, this is where, so we can see Confluence is integrated. And in future sessions, we'll show how to pull Jira data into Confluence using macros. And you can also integrate with others, Bamboo, Crucible, different ones like that. DBCS accounts, so connecting to Bitbucket Cloud or GitHub. So if you are doing software development and you want to have automated builds and have your Jira tickets updated real time from the result of a build, for example, then that's where you would do that configuration. Okay. Under project administration, okay, Nikhil, sorry, I've just seen your comment now. How to import user stories or tasks from one project to another project under the same instance? Does only site admin can do that? Attachments released related to story cards, tasks, etc. Right? Okay. Duplication. If you wanted to do bulk duplication, then that's a more difficult thing. There's a plugin for bulk cloning. But if you want to move, so if you've got say Ancient Circle is that project and you want to move a heap of data across to another one, that's via a bulk change and a move. So I can quickly show that now. So if we went to Ancient Furniture, okay, so I'm in the Ancient Furniture issues. So that project, if I go to Advanced Search, and I think you can do it from a basic search as well. I always do it from this screen because I've got better visibility about what's going on. So we've got 50 to 100 of 110 issues here, right? So up in the top right-hand corner here, we've got bulk change, and we can either do all 110 or the current page. I'm just going to do 50. And whether you do one or the other, you have the option to select individually. So if I wanted to select everything and I want to move all of these to a different project, I would click that box up the top. Then I might go, well, not quite all 50. I'm going to take out, a couple of these because I want them to stay in this project. Okay. Scroll down. There's a next button there. And then you get these options that we were looking at in another session. So there's edit. You can do a bulk edit where you could set a fixed version, for example, or change the assignee for a whole heap, or set a component, or you could do a whole lot of different edits all in one go, and you can apply a comment to those edits as well. You can move, okay? So you can move issues to new projects and issue types. That's where you do that. You can transition sometimes, depending on the workflow. If you've got a restricted workflow where you can only move from one status to another and not from anywhere to anywhere, then it'll give you, like, it'll guide you through it and say, well, for these subset, you can go from open to in progress, but for other ones which are currently in a status of backlog, you can't go straight to in progress. So it guides you through that. Deleting, you can do a bulk delete. Just on that, I would always recommend to close an issue with a resolution of won't do and put a comment in rather than delete, because once you delete it, it's gone. All your audit history, attachments, comments, any history there is gone. You're far better off to have a duplicated issue with something that says it's a duplicate than to delete it. If you've got a duplicate, quite often a duplicate would be created because somebody's asked a question or they've added something into the backlog. If you delete it, you're going to get those questions again. If you close it off as a duplicate, you can always search and go, that question's already been answered 6 months ago. That one was raised. We decided not to do it because X, Y, Z. So I think there's a lot of value there in just keeping them and close them off. You can bulk watch issues, or you can bulk stop watching issues. So if you're being spammed with notifications from Jira, then you can use those options there.
Sorry, Paul.
Yeah,
sorry,
sure.
Paul. When you say close it off as a duplicate, so there is an issue that is not relevant, or you don't want to have any focus and attention, rather than delete it. You're saying close, but tag it with close as duplicate. Is that what you're saying? Close as duplicate, and put a comment to say, well, whatever you want to do, but just rather than delete it, tag it as a duplicate. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Even though it is not a real duplicate of anything, you just want to tag it with a specific tag that you then have to think about. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So let's just run with that situation. So we've got this one here, right? Suggestions on me access denied. Okay, it doesn't make any sense. So let's create another one. So it's going to be under ancient furniture as well. I'm going to make this one a task though, and I'm going to say seek suggestions on access denied process, for example. I don't think we've got any other mandatory fields there. All right, so create that one. And it's 198. And hypothetically, if we were looking at our backlog and we went, oh, hang on a second, 198, this thing on access denied, we've already got that. It's covered here. Then I could link it. And I could say, this is a duplicate or duplicates ANF197.
Got it. Duplicates. Yep. Okay.
So that part there, that's the link. Okay, that's not the resolution. If I want to move that to, this workflow is configured a little bit differently. This is a mock data that I imported. If I close it, I should get, so I get a resolution screen. Okay, so status and resolution are two different things. So you can close something off with the status of done. Yes, I finished the work. A status of won't do. No, this thing provides no value to me, so therefore I'm not going to do it. Duplicate, which is what we're going to select here. This thing duplicates something else. Cannot reproduce. That could be for a bug that was raised in production. You go, you know what? I can't replicate this thing. Therefore, I'm just going to close it off because we're just chasing a needle in a haystack. Fixed, as opposed to done. Fixed would be you had a problem or a bug and yet it was resolved. Won't fix is pretty similar to won't do. Just that it's a bug and we're just going to live with it. Resolved would be similar to these. It's probably more of an ITIL reference that you might have a production incident rather than the bug. And we've rebooted the system and it's all good. And the resolution of incomplete, I've never used that, but I'm sure there's probably a use case for it. So in this case, let's go with duplicate. This screen that we see here, this is a resolution screen, and you can configure that under system administration. So we could take out the time logging fields, for example, or the assignee. And I think comment field, that's probably always there by default. So we'll just say, nah, not doing this one. It's a duplicate. Oops. Close it. So we now have a status of closed and a resolution of duplicate. Okay. And we can see here linked issues. So it duplicates ANF 197. And if I go to 197, you can see there's a reverse link the other way. So we can see here is duplicated by this one, ANF 198, and its status is closed.
So what does it tell us about this one, about 197 itself? What does it tell us?
So what it tells us about 197 is that somebody had closed off another duplicate of this, or another issue that they saw to be a duplicate of this. So apart from that link, it doesn't have any impact on 197. The impact is all under 198 instead, where it's a status closed and duplicate. Okay.
So we can still close this 197.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and what you're saying here is really you never want to get to a point where you delete any ticket. You want to close it and have it some sort of resolution, and you're still able to search and find information or data on that particular issue.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. That would be my recommendation. Don't delete it, because once it's deleted, it's gone. But any time in the future, if people went, well, hang on a second, that wasn't really a duplicate, you can go back to this one and you could look at the comment history or any attachments and that sort of stuff and go, oh, okay, so we decided that one was a duplicate because XYZ. So probably having a more informative comment than not doing this one would be helpful. But you'd probably want to have some explanation there about, well, this is a duplicate because, yada, yada. There's a history audit there as well. So in the real world, if you close something off as a duplicate, it would have more of a history to it than what I've got here. Yeah. So you can always go back and look at that. Okay. And happy to chat further about any of those if it's helpful in the future. Okay, so back to moving. If we were going to move a series of issues from one project to another, you would do it via, remember we did the bulk change, and then we selected move issues, and we picked which ones we were going to move. And we're going to go from ancient furniture, we're going to choose a different project. We're going to go to ancient circle. And here, you can apply the same mapping that I choose here to everything else. All right. Now, I think that may change the issue type though. So if I was going to go from internal task, if I tick that box, it may change it to a bug. Not terribly sure. So 11 issues of type bug. I would always just do it one by one though, so I've got a bit more control. So I'm going to go ancient circle there. Ancient circle here, and I'll leave it as an internal task, but it does give you the option to change the type. Ancient circle, and these ones here, I'm going to go, actually, they belong to important bird, so I'm going to put them there. Then you would click on next. Then it's going to ask you for some mapping. All right, so components, I think it just so happens, the components are different. So in our source project, we had components like messenger server, validation, monitoring, etc. And we have no matching component in the new one. So you've got to be careful when you're moving data between one project and another. And at this point, if I was doing this, I'd probably go, oh, hang on a second, I'll take a screenshot. I'll go and configure those components in that other project, and I'll come back and rerun this. Same for fixed versions and affected versions. And if there are other data that didn't have a mapped equivalent, it would probably come up here as well. Box down the bottom here, send mail for this update. That used to be ticked by default, and now Atlassian have smartly changed it so there's not ticked. So if you're going to change 50 or 100 different issues and move them from one place to another, or do a bulk update and that sort of stuff, it's good not to send emails because that can just annoy people.
Paul, and who receives that email? It says by selecting option, update notification will be sent to whom?
So via the notification scheme.
Got it. Okay.
So I think there's an event called issue moved.
Right.
Otherwise, it'll just be issue updated. But if we look in the notification scheme, and it will say, so if we go to ancient furniture and project settings, I know I'm jumping here fast, but you can watch the video and play this back again. Notifications, and if I go issue moved,
There it is.
okay.
Yep. Okay.
And so that would be anybody watching. So anybody who's watching an issue, the current assignee, and the reporter. And these are the default ones. So if somebody's modified the notification scheme, it could be that the product owner wanted to get a notification of every time that something was moved, right? And so they might get 100 emails. And then while notifications in Jira are really powerful, if you get too many, they're worth nothing. So yeah, just be really careful with the notifications. Okay, so then we'll click next. And that'll just ask you to confirm. So by default, there's these grey boxes over here just to retain the value. And this is repeating that same screen for the different issue types. Remember when we had bug and then there was another 3 different types? So it'll be repeating and just saying, okay, for each one, do you want to see, okay, same one for new feature.
Okay.
And then I'll ask you to confirm. And then it will give you this screen where it's migrating 46 issues. You can click on refresh. Depending on the number, if you've got hundreds, it'll take a while to do. And it comes up with that acknowledge button, and then there you go. So if I wanted to look out, so this is my ANF. Now, where did I move into?
Ancient circle.
Ancient circle. So ANC. So if I now go to my ANC board, sorry, query on ANC, and I go for the most recent one. Probably not the most recent key that I want. What it actually is, over on the right-hand side here, is updated. So I go for one of the most recent ones, so 23rd of August, ANC 90. And I go to history here. Then it tells me that I've moved it from ANF to ANC. Okay. And the project was updated as well. Now, if I go to, so I'm looking at ANC 90. If I go and look for ANC 160, it will automatically redirect to ANC 90, to the new ID, right? So if you've got that in an email or anywhere else, then it'll do that navigation. Cool. All right. So we ran through system administration before and projects. We had a quick look at the administration there as well. So it's mostly the same functionality as the other screen. Here you can go to project settings. If you're an administrator, you can move a project to trash. Just be careful about that. Project categories, we can set up a new one. So at the moment, we've got no project categories in here. And categories, if you're looking at your project list, then you can filter by type and by category if you have a category configured. And if you've got hundreds and hundreds of projects, then categories can just help to whittle down that list and just filter on the things you're looking at. Trash, if I had moved something to the trash, this is a new feature. You didn't used to be able to do this. Once a project was deleted, it was deleted. And archive is another new feature in cloud as well, which is cool. I haven't used archive, but that's really good. There used to be workarounds that you'd have to do with changing permission schemes and all sorts of things so that people couldn't access old projects anymore. So this archive feature is really good. Okay, we've got 7 minutes left. I could make the issues admin side the focus of the next one of these meetups, if you like. Just to give you a really high-level look here, there's issue types. I think we've talked before about creating different types of issue types, issue type schemes, subtasks. So whether you enable subtasks or not, you can disable subtasks if you want to. Workflows, so creating new workflows and modifying existing existing workflows, and we've really got nothing much in here at the moment. Workflow schemes, so it's associating issue types with a particular workflow. So for bugs, you might have a different workflow to stories, for example. Screen configuration, screen scheme. So again, associating screens with different types of actions, create, edit, view, and associating different screens with issue types as well. So you might have a risk screen and a bug screen, for example. Custom fields. There's a lot that you can do with custom fields and a lot of different types. You can have user pickers and date pickers, single lists, or select lists with single choice, multiple choice, all sorts of different things there. Configuring fields, so there's field configurations that you can associate with a project, and then different schemes as well. So you can have a field configuration associated with a different issue type. Starting to get into all sorts of mess now, right? Time tracking, issue linking. So before, you know, when we were looking at duplicates and blocks and things like that, you can set up more issue linking types if you want to. Statuses, you can create and manage statuses in here. Resolutions as well. So in the other project, I had a statuses of loved, or sorry, resolutions of loved it, hated it, enjoyed it, and whatever. So you can set up whatever resolutions of value to your organization. Priorities. I'd recommend some caution here. I've seen organizations that have like 20 different priorities, and they are instance wide, so it's difficult to control that. If you've got a critical and a priority one and a serve one, you know, it's like, well, which one do we choose? It's quite hard. And okay, issue security schemes, we'll get into that in another one. Notification schemes and permission schemes we've briefly talked about as well. So that's a real whirlwind of just applications is the other thing, I suppose, is where you can search for and pick plugins. So there's a lot of plugins that are free. There's a lot of plugins that are paid. So there's 947 currently available for Jira Cloud. You can pick free ones. And there are 345 that are free. There's time sheeting, all sorts of different things. So I'd encourage you to have a look through there. And there's whatever you need there's probably a plugin that will do what you need. So I might just pause there for a minute. I think Kutsi is having some issues. Connection, apologies guys, I can't hear any longer. We can see the screen. I'll listen to the last bit of recording. Yeah, no worries. All right, awesome, Kutsi, thank you. Any questions, guys, before we wrap up?
Lots to take in. Just a comment. It's good. Thank you, Paul.
No, anytime. And so, as you guys have done, please feel free to message me. There'll be times when I might not be able to talk right at the time, but I'll certainly make time to you know, jump on and start a Zoom and help you out with whatever I can. I'd be really keen to get your thoughts and feedback on future sessions and what's of value to you, whether it's just a confirmation of, yep, keep going the way you are, this is really good, or hey, can we go back and we can look at that thing, or as we did today with going and having a look at it a bit more deeper, asking questions and going through things. I think that's really good. So I'm happy to do that if it's, you know, if that's helpful and valuable to you as well. Yeah. Nikhil, did you have questions that you wanted to ask?
Yeah. It was related to the Ancient. Like I was creating a dashboard in Ancient. Ancient Circle project.
Okay, so let's have a look in there.
Yeah.
And I'll jump into that one. Ignacio and Sandeep, you guys are more than welcome to stay on if you haven't got a meeting to go to, and if you want to chat for longer about different things. I've got nothing on. I have no meetings on right now. Let's just put that politically correct. Okay, let me jump.
I think so. You'll have to go to Integrity Box.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paul. I need to jump off. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, guys. I might come back a little bit later on, Paul, and message you. But thank you again.
No problem. All right. Thanks, heaps, Ignacio.
Thanks, Paul. Even I'll leave for now because I have to attend my daily scrum. But wonderful session. I'll certainly go through the recordings. I think the key point is to practice. The more you practice, the more you become confident and you come up with the right questions. So Thank you for the
absolutely.
Yep.
You're welcome, Sandeep. No worries. I'll see you at next one.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye, Nikhil. Bye, Paul.
Yeah, bye,
Bye.
Sandeep.
Bye. Okay, so ancient circle, and it was these 3 dots here, right? And I'll just refresh
Yes. So I was referring to those.
Yep. Okay, so these are just used as a visual indicator for how long work has been left in a column. One of the concepts with Kanban is looking for bottlenecks in your work. And so if something's sitting in a column for a long time, like 20 days, that's why this is shaded in red, then you know you've got a problem. If we put one back to do, it should, it's interesting. It's cumulative. Okay, so this one, Windows 10, must have been in to do for a long time previously. So now it's had 17 days in there. If I move it to done. Okay, then it drops off.
Yeah, it's gone,
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's what that one's for. So it's separate to your estimate, and it's separate to this original estimate or remaining time estimate value. It's just a visual indicator so that people looking at the board can go, wow, this one must have a problem. Let's go and find out what's going on with it.
Exactly. Yeah. But I feel in the proper sprint, like where people are following a 2-week sprint and estimating it properly, I don't think so that will be a problem. Like it will be showing the right amount of days remaining or whatever the work remaining, when even if you move from to do to in progress, something like that. That's what I feel, because these cards are never touched like for weeks and weeks, and we are practicing it here, so that is the reason it must be showing something different from the actual one.
Yeah, that's right. There's exactly right. If people are doing things properly, then this won't occur. Unfortunately, in most of the organisations that I've worked in, it's hard to do things right, and so it requires really good product backlog management to get things a small enough size that they can just move through to done in a sprint. That's all just part of practice and teams growing in maturity over time and that as well. So. It's a useful indicator, but when teams are mature and running well.
That's true. Yeah, very few teams are very like running on pure agile, where they do the sprint planning and the estimations properly for the sprint, considering all the other constraints like leaves, holidays, how much of work you can do it in a sprint. So that's right. Completely different. You need to have that kind of a mature team and adaptive team to the changes, basically. To what
I think
sprint and agile is.
And it's probably a really powerful indicator to take into a retro. So when you have a retrospective, if you looked at the cards that had been sitting for a long time, it gives you a good point of reference for discussing further with the team. Say, okay, so we had these cards that were sitting there, they've been there for over a week. What happened with that? And how can we learn from those cards and the things that went wrong to make it better in the next sprint? And it could be people go, we had these external dependencies that were blocking us, or and that would feed into your definition of ready. Or it could be, look, I just didn't know what I needed to do with the card, and I got stuck because it was unclear to me what I needed to do. So that would suggest further backlog refinement by the product owner. So it's a very visually very simple thing, but I think it could also be really powerful and helpful.
And until if you know it, then it's really powerful. That's what I feel. Otherwise, like if you have too many things on the screen for a user story card or task card, then like it's going to be confusing for the people who are not that much into it, like from non-Scrum people, like non-Scrum masters, like people, the Scrum team basically.
Absolutely. And maybe that'll be a good thing too. So Tuesday next week, we've got the next, like the beginners session or the daily user session. Maybe it'd be good to spend more time just looking at the layout of the card and how you can structure things and have more data.
Okay. So on Tuesday, are you going to repeat what you for the daily users again? You're going to repeat the same thing that you did on the first session, or you're just going to extend something related to the daily users?
I was so I was looking at going a little bit further on some of the basics of Jira.
That would be great.
So I think we had there's a pretty good number, I think, for the first daily users meetup.
Yeah.
And so if I just go back over the same content again, people might get a bit bored, but I really want people's input as well. So if there are particular things that people would say, oh, can you just show us that thing again? Or can you, talk about this or that? I think that'd be really helpful.
Okay. Yeah, for me personally, like if you take something little forward for the daily users or something from the previous session, that would be great. Like a repeatable something would be like kind of code. That's what you said. Because like most of the people who have attended the first session would feel like, okay, we are going to doing the same thing and might drop out and all those. But from the daily users point of view, like something next step or some additional things related to the daily users permissions thing, or even like how daily users can use the sprint and the backlog codes, that would help.
Yeah.
Like yeah. So my next question was related to the reports.
So
I
if we go to reports,
actually,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, so if you click on burn down chart, the first one.
Yep.
Okay, so here we can change like, okay, so the y-axis shows remaining time estimate,
Mm-hmm.
and the right, like x-axis is showing its time. So if I change to user stories, okay, the sprint one at the top,
Yep.
story points or whatever, like original time estimate, anything. So now this is my sprint burn down charge. Okay.
Yep.
Now if I go to dashboard, if you can see my dashboard, like Nikhil. Okay, it's in the
Okay, view all dashboards.
other instance, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, so this integrity works, and we've got. You might not have shared it.
So is this the same integrity works.rtf?
Yeah. Yep. So I haven't got the ability to see your dashboard. Is it a dashboard?
Yeah, it says like test dashboard Nikhil, and I think so I've shared it to projects.
Okay, could you just paste the link to me, and I'll see if I can open it up. If you just paste the link in the chat.
Yeah, I'm doing that. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the other one.
Yeah, absolutely sorry.
No, that's all right. Dashboard. Yeah, you'll need to give me permission to see it. So
Dashboard.
if you go to your dashboard.
Okay, I have
top right.
Can you just refresh it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So it's, if you share it with me or with everybody. So if you go edit dashboard, top right corner, and share it with project, and you select the project, was it ANC?
Yeah, Asian Circle, I did that.
All roles, you go add, and then go save.
Okay, I did not click on add and save. Okay. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I did that right now. You should be able to see it if you refresh it. Yeah, great.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
Yeah. So what I'm looking for is something. If you see the sprint dashboard, a sprint burn down chart gadget.
Yeah.
Okay. So here it is showing us remaining time estimate against time.
Okay.
Okay. So are you aware about how we can change this, like reflecting what I've seen, like I'm configuring?
Yeah, so maybe, okay, if we go back to
I tried a few things, but I did not get it anywhere.
Okay. So if we go summary. Okay. There'll be a place where maybe it's, it might be under the board. Yeah, okay. So Ancient Circle, if I go to board configuration, and it's this one here, is it Scrum board? Yeah, it was that one, wasn't it? Ancient Circle Scrum Board. And if I go board settings and general, estimation. So if I go, okay. So under estimation, sorry, I had to remember where to find it. Under estimation in board settings, estimation statistic, that's set to story points, but we've got this time tracking ability here. And so the option at the moment is remaining estimate and time spent.
Okay.
And if I tick none, issues will burn down their story points value upon completion. Okay, I haven't played with that before, but that'd be interesting to know a bit more about. Okay, so now if we go back to reports, I'll view the burn down chart. Now it defaults to story points.
Oh
So
yeah, I can see it, story
I can
points.
still go back to that. Story points. Now go over to
Like
your
if we just
dashboard.
refresh, like
Yeah. So now it's saying story points. Yeah, so it's under that board configuration because you're.
Yeah.
And of course I can't edit this. Yeah, I think to do this one you did a board, right? Sorry, you chose a board rather than a project for your burn down. Is that right?
I added a project sprint and never to refresh. So I added this gadget. Okay, so it gave me the configuration, which project, Asian project, and then I selected which sprint, and then I selected when it should be refreshed. I said never, and then I clicked on OK. So basically, I got it right now that if you go to board settings and then you change that estimation from no to from that second option to none, then it changes here basically. So you can have only two things, like remaining time estimation versus time, or story points versus time.
So was it sprint burn down gadget? Yeah, okay. So so it's based on a board, not a project. Okay, so that makes sense to me now. Okay, so I think it was the ANC board, wasn't it? So it's that one there.
Yeah,
I'll show the board name.
So
board is either, you can either pick a sprint or the next one. Show the sprint name. Save that. Yeah, cool. Okay.
Yeah. So here it is. Yeah. So basically, you can configure the dashboard on two things, like remaining time estimates or like story points.
Yeah, that's right. So these questions, Nikhil, like I said last time, these questions are really good because it helps me. It helps me practice and all that sort of stuff and go back to things that I might not have looked at for a while. And I'll learn things as well. But for everybody else watching the recordings, this is, it's helping them.
That's true.
And they'll get something out of watching this too. So so I'd really encourage you and everybody else to ask questions because everybody benefits. So.
Yeah, because I'm going stepwise, trying to play around with the active sprint and the backlogs board, then trying to get as much as information on that, how can I configure this thing, that thing, due date or so, time estimation. Even though I have done it, but it's been quite a while, I haven't played with the Jira board. So I'm going okay, now I'm trying to I know good about backlog board and the sprint active sprints board, where all the fields are. So then I'm going to the board settings, then project settings. So I'm trying to do stepwise, and one of the important fields, important features, is this dashboard, the sprint dashboard. Everyone wants to have the sprint dashboard whenever you go in the project. So how that has been done. So I've done that in TFS, Team Foundation Server, but never in Jira. So I just wanted to, so I just wanted to know how we can do, how we can configure the sprint dashboard, or the next thing is that I'm trying to see how we can track the velocity for the sprint.
Over time. Yeah.
Yeah, over time or story points, basically. So
yeah, that's right. So you're rolling velocity. Because this is showing your velocity for a sprint, but if you wanted to see your velocity chart over time, and this is where we're going to need some more mock data. Yeah, there's no available sprints for this board. So if we had sprints over time, then it would show our rolling average for velocity and what we
I think so. Even
what we'd forecast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think so. Even if I complete this current sprint, it's going to show me some kind of a velocity. I think so. Like,
Yeah, it'll probably say to you not enough data. So we need 3 sprints. But
okay.
maybe what we should be doing with each meetup, we should probably be each fortnight, if we're putting the agenda items and then move them through and estimate them, and we start using Jira for the meetups, then over time we'll build up data that we can
Yeah,
use for
exactly. Yeah,
reports
that's a
and that sort
good
of stuff
idea.
too.
Yeah,
So that'd be
yeah,
cool.
we
I'm
can
probably
like.
going to need, I'll need a few people. I might need my own Scrum Master to update the Jira for me. So,
Yeah,
and that would be good too to have members of the meetup using Jira and dragging stuff across the board and
yeah,
all that sort of
exactly.
thing. So
Yeah.
so that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, because these
Um,
things, like, if you are not in touch with this kind of things, then you like tend to forget quite easily. Like if you're not working
that's
onto
right.
these things quite often, then it like you will forget it that quickly. Then it is like remembering things basically. Like,
Exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
very, very
So
true. Yeah.
yeah. So I just wanted. I had these questions basically, Paul, today.
Yeah.
Nothing. So I will be practicing few things more. And on the system admin thing, that are you going to give access to few of us, like on
Yeah,
that
I'll
the
need
other
to.
instance?
Yeah, I think I'll need to set up maybe 5 different instances or something, just free ones. So I might be like Integrity Works demo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then that way I can give individual people access to them rather than making it the meetup user
Okay.
ID. If I make it specific people, then that way it's not just anybody in the world that can come in and change the system and
Yeah. That's true.
delete
Yeah.
projects and all that
Yeah.
sort of
No,
stuff. So
that's right. That's right. Yeah.
yeah,
Otherwise, yeah, like returning everything back would be a big headache if everything
that's
goes
right.
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
cool.
Thanks, Paul, for this session and answering the questions. It was
Anytime,
really
Nikhil.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Now I'll just stop recording for a second.